Every day, billions of people rely on the same handful of tech companies. These companies power our communication, shape our news feeds, store our memories, and influence almost every part of our daily lives, from what we buy to how we think and even how we vote. Their platforms are everywhere, appearing seamless and effortless, but behind the innovation and record-breaking profits lies a deeper question. How much power is too much power? In this video, we'll explore how modern tech empires turn data into profit, influence behavior, and shape global markets on a scale most people don't realize. We'll also examine why governments and regulators around the world are starting to push back, challenging these companies to be more transparent and accountable. This isn't about conspiracy theories, it's about incentives, scale, and control. If you want to stay informed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe before we dive in. The invisible data economy. How tech empires turn your privacy into profit. Start by explaining that the wealth of modern tech giants doesn't come from selling phones or software alone, it comes from extracting, analyzing, and monetizing user data. What data is collected? Every search, scroll, click, message, image, and like becomes part of a massive user profile used to predict behavior and influence decisions. Most platforms claim to protect privacy, but in reality, their tools exploit data for profit. Users often grant permissions without realizing how deep the access goes. The Cambridge Analytica scandal. One of the most famous examples of this hidden data economy was the Facebook Cambridge Analytica incident. A seemingly simple personality quiz harvested data, not just from the people who installed it, but also from their millions of friends, all without explicit consent, building detailed psychological profiles used in political campaigns. The fallout exposed just how easily personal information could be repurposed for influence rather than user benefit. Meta's 2024-2025 privacy controversies. Meta was fined billions by regulators in the US, EU, and other countries for mishandling user data, including sensitive biometric information collected without consent, as well as multiple privacy violations tied to its ad practices. These aren't minor penalties for small companies, they are major consequences for multi-billion-dollar corporations that repeatedly push the boundaries of legal and ethical standards. The fines highlight a growing global concern about how much power tech empires hold over personal information, and they serve as a warning that even the largest companies are not above scrutiny. Despite these penalties, critics argue that such fines are often treated as a cost of doing business, raising questions about whether stronger regulation or accountability measures are needed to truly protect users' privacy. Why it matters. While individuals might think I have nothing to hide, the scale of data collection means companies know far more about you than you realize, from habits to health clues to psychological triggers. As this data feeds AI, advertising, and recommendation systems, it drives revenue, often at the expense of privacy and control. The hidden costs. Labor exploitation, toxic cultures, and human rights abuses. After explaining how tech giants make money, shift to how they treat the people who help build, maintain, and enforce their platforms. Warehouse workers and labor rights. Companies like Amazon, while promoting innovation and convenience, have faced consistent scrutiny for severe working conditions in their warehouses, with employees pushed to meet intense productivity quotas, monitored constantly, and exposed to physical and mental stress. These issues extend beyond the US, affecting global supply chain laborers who work under harsh conditions for minimal pay. Tech culture scandals. It's not just warehouse workers. Internal corporate cultures have also shown deep flaws. For example, companies such as Uber once faced public backlash after former employees exposed rampant harassment and discrimination in the workplace, leading to internal investigations and leadership changes. Similar stories have emerged across Silicon Valley, revealing systemic issues that prioritize growth over people. Human rights implications. According to human rights groups, the economic power of big tech sometimes means they can skirt accountability for how their products and practices affect labor markets, freedom of expression, and human rights globally. Cases of exploitation of migrant workers in tech supply chains, from recruitment deceit to exploitative housing and pay conditions, reflect how these companies leverage size and wealth at the expense of worker welfare. Content moderation toll. Behind the scenes of social media platforms are content moderators who must repeatedly view disturbing material. These individuals, often hired through contractors overseas, face risks to mental health without adequate protection or support, sparking psychological harm claims. Why it matters. Unlike the polished brand image, these behind-the-curtain human costs remind viewers that the tech empire's success often comes with real human consequences, ones rarely shown in advertisements or keynote speeches. Power, manipulation, and control. Societal impact beyond Silicon Valley. For the final major point, explore how tech empires shape society, often in ways many users don't realize or agree with. Algorithmic influence and addiction design. Platforms like social media and search engines use advanced AI that doesn't just serve content, it actively manipulates engagement. Algorithms are designed to keep users scrolling longer by reinforcing existing beliefs, tailoring feeds, and exploiting psychological triggers. Research into these dark patterns shows how design can intentionally cultivate addictive behaviors, such as endless scrolling, constant notifications, or emotionally charged content. This isn't accidental. It's built into revenue models focused on attention and retention, where every extra second online translates to higher ad revenue. Experts warn that these techniques can reshape thought patterns, influence political opinions, and even impact mental health, creating a digital environment where users are subtly nudged towards certain actions without realizing it. The long-term societal implications are only beginning to emerge. Filter bubbles and misinformation. By curating content based on past behavior, platforms inadvertently create filter bubbles, reinforcing what you already believe, narrowing your worldview, and sometimes amplifying polarizing content that drives engagement at the expense of factual accuracy. These bubbles can isolate users from diverse perspectives, making it harder to encounter differing opinions or critically analyze information. Over time, this can contribute to misinformation spreading rapidly, deepen political or social divides, and even influence major decisions, from voting behavior to public opinion on critical issues. The more sophisticated the algorithms become, the more subtly they shape our perceptions, often without users realizing how much their online environment has been engineered to keep them engaged within these echo chambers. Market dominance and anti-competitive practices. Some tech giants actively maintain market power by acquiring potential competitors, like Meta buying Instagram and WhatsApp, reducing choices for users and limiting innovation. These monopolistic behaviors can entrench a few companies at the top of tech economies worldwide. Regulation and accountability. Governments around the world are now trying to rein in this power, with laws like the European Digital Markets Act designed to limit unfair practices, increase competition, and give users more control. But tech companies often push back, using lobbying power to shape regulation in their favor. Why this matters. This point ties everything together. It's not just privacy or labor or culture. It's about how these empires influence politics, social norms, information integrity, personal freedom, and even democracy in ways most people haven't fully understood. Thank you for watching. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an update. We love hearing from you, so leave a comment with your thoughts, questions, or any topic you'd like us to explore next. Your feedback helps shape our content, and we'll see you in the next video with more shocking insights and eye-opening stories.